Practicing architect 20 years in New York, I had sort of cultivated an expertise in highly detailed solutions to sort of complex problems. Was interested in developing a multidisciplinary program. I think what was interesting about the supposition was this idea for me of developing an interior orientation from a background of years in architecture. We have, over the last 10 years, developed a program that is highly interdisciplinary along with the architecture department. One topic, for example, was biomimicry, where we studied sort of natural strategies that various fruits and vegetables adopt in surviving and making adaptations relative to their sustenance. Each student picked a topic. Robert picked the raspberry. Perhaps you want to talk as to what interested you about that.
At that point in my education, I was tired of being so linear with my design studio, so the raspberry kind of just appealed to me in its very organic and bulbous nature. It was also quite interesting to see how these small sacs of fluid and membrane together formed this fruit, and that intrigued me incredibly.
One student took a horned melon and examined the way the horned melon keeps from rotting on the ground and developed a whole architecture relative to his piece of furniture that would enable it to have multiple positions on the ground and yet always have 3 points of contact. You had selected the celery.
Right.
What were some of the things that you discovered about the celery?
And so I picked the celery because it intrigued me how lightweight it was, but at the same time it was very strong. And then I also found that the celery was 90% water. So I know that when I would address and use those characteristics with my furniture, I wanted water to interact with it.
We had an opportunity to be involved in the sustainable area in 2 solar decathlons, the 05 decathlon 2005 and 2007. And it was at that point that we decided that rather than just decorate these spaces as an interior design exercise, that we would actually speculate on both the interiors and the furniture contributing to the energy equation of the house. The Department of Energy also has monitored this house because of its unique energy system. So we'll go inside and we'll talk about what the interior design group did here. So we'll go into the house now and we'll look at some of the components. This is a flooring and wall covering material. It's actually made out of spun filament. One of the reasons we selected this is, again, the strategy for the house is to use as little energy as possible.
We fabricated 4 panels dividing the space in 2, basically, like the service area was separated to the living area, so like kitchen, bathrooms, utility room were separated from the living area, and through a photograph taken in the city, we basically added the city theme, and certain panels were transparent, certain panels were semi-transparent, and certain panels were opaque according to needs.
We investigated multifunctionality. How could you consolidate in 800 square feet functions that might occupy a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot house. Our sofa, for example, in the 07 decathlon was 18 feet long. It was both a play area for children. It accommodated a sitting area where people could actually sit and watch something else like television. It had a reading area in it. It had had storage, it had a blackboard integrated into it.
I think initially some of our stumble blocks were we never designed custom furniture before, so thinking about not only does this have to look appealing, but it has to react to the design problem properly.
Last category was microenvironments, where we have over the years investigated how pieces of furniture could consolidate with what a house normally provides in the way of heating, cooling, lighting, etc. Maybe there was an opportunity here for a station where someone could do homework, someone could plug in and listen to an iPod, where sun could be kept from the occupant, again, instead of turning on air conditioning systems that might cool the person when sun is coming in the house, that these could be directed, provide some shielding, provide some privacy. Building out the basics with the students, collectively, architecture and interior design, exposing them to the fundamentals of theory, representation, basic design practice, then isolating them into their various disciplines, and then bringing them back together again has rendered an amazing synergy.
I think that for me in particular, I've always leaned up, in a sense, a little bit more towards architecture. I don't see a huge difference between architecture and interior design, other than possibly the scale at which you're working.
Teams are always multidisciplinary on the furniture projects, and the results have convinced us that this is a path that renders up the sorts of results we'd like to continue with.